So welcome back to another Sky Bet League 2 predictions video. It is match week 38 and we are starting things off at the People Pension Stadium. Now I think that Crawley will be able to continue their really good run of form that they've been on this season and shock everyone. But the question is, can they get themselves into a playoff position today? Well, I think they can. I'm going to go with a 2-0 comfortable win here for Crawley against a really struggling Notts County side at the minute. Next up at the race course, can Wrexham further put themselves into that promotion bid? Well, I think they can against a really poor Harrogate side. The last couple of wins really steadied the ship for Wrexham. I think if they continue that run of form, they'll definitely be up there, if not winning the league. So I'm going to go with a 3-0 home win. Now, next up, can Barrow continue this improved bit of form they've been on, get themselves back into that playoff race? Well, I'm not sure, as Walsall are one of the most informed teams in the league at the minute. But with a loss at the weekend, will they just be on a bit of a downward spiral going into this game? Well, I'm not sure. I don't think either side's going to win here, but I do think there will be goals. So I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. I think both sides will be happy with the point. Now, next up, can Mansfield get themselves into that promotion spot again as they face a really struggling Tranmere side? In my opinion, I think it's going to be a very tight game, though, especially as they are playing away at Prenton Park. I'm not sure about this one. I think it's going to be 5 goals in it, but I'm going to go with a 3-2 win for the away team. Now, next up, can either of these two teams get a win on the board after some really poor run of form as of late, especially Accrington Stanley going away to the county ground? It's going to be tough for them, especially with 0 wins out of their last 5. But I do think they're going to get an improved result, as this game for me just has 0-0 written all over it. Next up, we are at Rodney Parade, where Newport County take on Morecambe. Now, it's going to be a very tough game for both sides, in my opinion. Obviously, both sides coming off a loss from Saturday's games. Now, both of them will be looking to make an improvement on that result, but I think Morecambe are just a slightly better team. I think it'll be a very tight game. Like I said earlier, I'm going to go with a 1-0 away win to Morecambe. I definitely think they need all 3 points here. As for Newport County, they could go and get a result here. It's not unfathomable. They will go and get a win, but I just can't see it myself. Now, next up, can MK Dons make it 3 wins on the bounce? Well, I think they will, as they play against a pretty poor Grimsby team. Although they have picked up their form in the last 4 matches, going 4 without a loss is absolutely massive for them. But MK Dons' 1 loss out of their last 5 really does show that they are a decent side, and they are where they are for a reason. 4th place, fighting for automatics. It's going to be a tough game for Grimsby. I think they are going to get beaten pretty heavily. I'm going to go with a 4-1 away win to the Dons. Now, next up, can Sutton improve their recent form and get themselves out of the relegation zone? Well, I don't think they will. They play against an out-of-form Crewe side, in my opinion, as they've lost their last 2 matches and going to be a little bit disappointed with that, especially as they are fighting for automatic promotion. But I don't think they're going to get all 3 points here. I think it's going to be a very tight game. Sutton, they're at this point in the season now, they need to start winning matches, and they're going to be fighting for every single point. And in my opinion, I think it's going to be a draw. A lot of goals in it, as I don't think either defence is particularly strong. So I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw in this game. Next up, we are at Colchester as they play against Doncaster, and they are fighting relegation. A loss against Barrow at the weekend would not have been what they wanted, but I think they're going to be able to bounce back against Doncaster. I don't think they're going to win, but they do seem to be the draw specialists at the minute. So I am predicting another draw in this one. And as a Colchester fashion, I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw in this game as they look to try and further themselves away from the relegation zone. As for Doncaster, I think if I was to predict a winner, it would be them, as they seem to come into this game with a bit better form. Now, next up, we are at Valley Parade, where both of these sides are coming off the back of a win at the weekend. But I do think that Bradford are just a better team, in my opinion. Obviously, Forest Green Rovers, they are where they are for a reason, but they seem to have picked up form lately. And especially with Sutton trying to catch them, it was important for them to do so. But I do not think it's going to continue, as Bradford are a very good side, like I said earlier. And I think they are going to win this game fairly comfortably, to be fair to them. I'm going to go with a 3-1 home win here for the Bantams. Now, in the penultimate game, we have Wimbledon, and they host Gillingham. And this is an absolutely massive game, especially as they've just got themselves into the playoff races and into a playoff spot, to be fair to them. And I think they need to get another win here. If they can get to 4 without losing, it's a very good time to start hitting form, especially going into the playoffs. And could we see a Dons derby in the playoff final? Well, let me know in the comments below. But I do think that Wimbledon are going to win this game. I think they're going to win it 2-1. Now, finally, it is a Lancashire derby as Salford take on Stockport. I mean, it's going to be a tough game. Any sort of game like this is always tight. and a gritty affair. I just hope the Salford fans are up for it, as I think their side's going to need their support on this game, as Stockport are a very good side, and they are for a reason, and the same goes for Salford. Obviously had a little bit of a revitalised bit of form, but that seems to have worn off now, and I do think that Salford are going to suffer a really heavy defeat in this one. I am going to go with a 3-0 Stockport win.